I'm going to be the least popular person in the province for a while. This is a tough budget, right? We're in serious times. This is a serious budget, and it's work that we have to do.
BC's budget 2026 lands on February 17th, and the finance minister has already basically warned us she expects to be the least popular person in the province when it drops. And that's not a cute quote. That's someone telling you that this budget is going to hurt and you're going to notice. And here's why. You see, BC has a math problem. They've got big deficits, rising debt, and interest costs that don't buy you anything new. Interest isn't just money leaving the room. So when the government says serious times, what they really mean is that there is less room and someone is about to feel it. Now, most people hear that and immediately think healthcare, education, core services, because those are the big categories. You don't find serious savings without really touching the big stuff, which is why Bailey's messaging is sounding like pre-damage control. And if everyone's mad, that means she did her job. But the part that hits the heart of the problem, the part that no one wants to talk about cleanly, is real estate. Real estate in BC isn't just a housing issue. It's a major economic engine, and it is also one of the major revenue streams for the government. When people buy and sell, the government gets paid, and the obvious one is property transfer tax. And the province itself has acknowledged that PTT is highly tied to transaction activity and price levels. When activity drops, revenue drops. So you'd assume in a deficit situation, the government would want to encourage activity, right? More transactions, more movement means more money. But they're not doing that. And the reason isn't complicated. Because budget 2026 isn't just about economics. It's politics. I mean, it's always politics. The government is trapped between two bad options. Option one, the pro-sale strategy, is lower friction, lower PTT, and offer incentives. Make it easier to buy and sell. That likely will boost transaction volume and provincial revenue. However, the risk, it's political suicide. You see, if prices jump even just 10% because the market gets juiced up, the housing crisis narrative gets worse overnight, and the government wears that like a scarlet letter into the next election. Option number two, the strategy that they're basically in right now, is keep taxes high, keep cooling measures, and keep the affordability posture. The goal here isn't maximizing revenue. The goal is to avoid being blamed for housing going up. So what's the risk then? It's essentially a fiscal black hole that they continue to go into. Because if you chill the market too hard, you don't just chill prices, you cool transaction volume that creates tax revenue. And that's the line I can't shake. The government is effectively cannibalizing its own revenue just to maintain a political stance on housing affordability. By making it too expensive or risky to buy and sell, they've accidentally cut off the oxygen to their own budget. And that's really the contradiction, isn't it? They need the revenue, and they also need the optics of we're not fueling the housing market. So they choose optics and accept the revenue hit because the revenue hit is quieter and slower than the political hit. And this is where I'm going to say the blunt part. A lot of these moves feel like party self-preservation, not because affordability doesn't matter, it does, but because in this environment, governments get punished for prices rising. And they can usually explain away weak revenue as the economy, global uncertainty, or external factors. So the path of least political resistance is don't stimulate, don't look pro-market, don't risk headlines that say you made housing worse, even if it means starving your own revenue stream. Now let's zoom out to small businesses because this is where it stops being theoretical. When real estate slows, it's not just the realtors that feel it. It's the trades and renovators, it's materials and suppliers, it's movers, it's staging, it's photographers, cleaners, it's the mortgages, the lenders, the legal, insurance, and it's even the local retail spillover when people move and spend. So if the government tightens spending and simultaneously keeps a lid on one of the biggest engines of consumer activity, that's a double squeeze. Less government demand, less private movement, less confidence, less spending. And then what happens? Small businesses don't feel policy, they feel foot traffic, bookings, leads, and payroll risk. So here's the statement of fact that matters. You can't starve the transaction economy, rely on real estate linked revenue, and then act surprised when the budget math gets ugly. So I have one question. What do you think the government is prioritizing right now? Fixing the budget or staying in power? Comment below what your thoughts are, and thanks for watching.